You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Fullerton Unfiltered. It's your host here, Brian Fullerton. Guys, thanks so much for joining in. I am really excited about this episode. We have none other than the man, the myth, the legend. We have Chant. I don't even know how to say your last name, brother, Singvongsa, but Chant from Chant's Daily Hustle. Welcome to the show, man.
Glad to be on this.
This is going to be a really fun one. We were talking before we hit the magical little record button, and just catching up, man. It's been a few months since GIE, since you and I really got to have a good conversation. And here's why. Both of us, we literally run 100 miles an hour. It's crazy, and you are 100% known as the hustle man, the busiest guy I know. And it's funny. I wanted to reach out to like some of the my favorite people that I watch on YouTube, right? And I was like, well, if I can get anyone on the podcast, it'd be, Chant's Daily Hustle. And I was telling Liz, my wife, I said, I don't know if I can even get Chant on the show. Like he's busy, man. Every time I watch YouTube, he's plowing snow for 20 hours straight. And she goes, hey, dingbat. She goes, that's why he's successful, because he makes time for things. So I shot a text message to you like yesterday evening. I got a reply back in like 2 minutes, and I'm like, hey, dude, can I get you on the show tomorrow? I'm like, I'm booked like 10, 12, and 2. He goes, how about 8 a.m.? And I'm like, wow. I'm like, I'm up. Let's do it. But I'm thinking to myself, that's like 7 a.m. your time, or maybe even earlier. So that's crazy, dude. Like your commitment is just great. Like you don't even blink an eye. You're like, oh yeah. And I'm like, okay. Like I'm the don't talk to me between 10 and 4 guy. So. Anyway, because I don't even get up until 10 a.m. But so enough of me talking. Let's hear your background, and maybe give everybody your stats for maybe those that don't know you, that are just listening in for the first time.
Yeah, my name's Chant, and I'm from Jackson, Minnesota, and I own a few business: lawn care, landscaping, snow removal, and embroidery business. So yeah, dude,
that's awesome, man. How long?
Just a few business.
Yeah. How long have you been in business?
The landscaping lawn care, that's 2009. I officially started that.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what?
7, 8, 9 years.
11 years?
Yeah. Well, yeah. 10 years now. Yeah. Geez, oh Pete. Time, I keep forgetting it's 2020, man. Geez, time is flying. I'm still writing checks like it's 2019, right? So, this is early February right now as we do this episode. Well, cool. Well, dude, I'm excited about having you on the show. There is a lot to talk about, because you have just made a presence for yourself in your town with your business. You've made a presence, your presence known on social media, which is just crazy. I don't have all the stats in front of me, but you're a juggernaut out there. You're one of the larger YouTube channels. But you're also just a great dude. I got to meet you and Amy. We all went down to Louisville this last summer, doing some things with GIE and Expo, and we got to spend 48 hours just hanging out, and honestly, dude, we literally talked YouTube for like 3 days straight. I'm pretty sure our girls both hate us still for that, because we'd be talking till 2 in the morning at the Galt House, right? And both of our wives' eyeballs are like they're good sports. Don't get me wrong, they're hanging on, but after about midnight, they're like, guys, there's only so much to talk about, and we're like, how do you do your thumbnails? How do you do your title? so let's do this. Before we jump into it, let's take a quick break. We'll hear from the announcements, and then we'll start unpackaging things.
Looking to outfit your trailer with the best racks in the industry? Head over to Equipment Defender. Be secure, look professional, be organized, stop thieves and damage in their tracks. Equipment Defender has racks for backpack blowers, trimmers, gas cans, backpack sprayers, and more. Stay organized, stay secure with Equipment Defender. All Equipment Defender racks work in either open or enclosed trailers. Get secure and organized today at equipmentdefender.com, and be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Equipment Defender.
All right, Chant. So let's open it up and let's break it down. What's your story? I mean, I know you post YouTube,
right.
and since then you've always had 1 or 2 trucks, and I think even the shop. But it didn't start that way, man. That's something
No.
that I do know about you. So give everybody maybe the last 10 or 15 years. How have you gotten to where you're at today? Because you have a pretty successful business going on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Man, I worked before I started lawn care and landscaping. I was in a factory working, just doing factory work, right?
Mm.
And man, I worked in the factory for like 7 years, and I just got bored, man, in doing line work.
Okay.
And so I worked my way up to be a lead, and I was the type of person who just didn't like to talk to people much.
Sure.
But I knew that in order to grow, man, I just had to get out of my shell, my comfort zone.
Oh yeah.
And so I just worked my way through that, and then I got bored. I don't know, I get bored easily, but I got bored of there was no room for growth in the industry that I was working in.
Mm.
And then I was like, man, I said, there's got to be something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we bought a house, and I needed more. And at that time, we were living paycheck to paycheck, and I needed more. And I went to Sears. I mean, at that time, I cleaned up my credit. I was, all these things that when you start out, or I guess when I was starting out, I just didn't have much.
Yeah.
And so I went to Sears and freaking got a card, right? I couldn't even afford a $175 or $200 push board for my house.
Wow.
And so I went to Sears and got a card. Barely got approved for a couple $100.
Right.
and then so that's where it all started. Was we bought a house, needed more, and I was like, how am I going to pay for this? We're living paycheck to paycheck at that time. And I said, I'm going to go knock around our neighborhood. Knocked around, I think, about 10, 15 houses. Only one guy out of the 15, 20 houses that I knocked on said, you want to, gave us a job for taking care of his yard. I didn't know nothing about taking care of yard or mowing either.
Sure.
I had to figure out quick. So then it paid for that, paid for the mower, and suddenly everything just started to, turn into a business.
Okay. And how old were you back then, or what year was this? This is like.
I was 21.
Okay.
Yeah, 21 years old at that time.
Taking it back.
So I'm 38. I'm 38 right now.
Okay.
So.
And you and Amy were high school sweethearts, right? From the beginning?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So she was.
We've been together, I think, 28 years.
Wow, dude, that's all. That I'll tell you what, man. Liz and I have been together for 7, married for 5, and I absolutely respect people who have marriages like 10, 15, 20, 25 years. I'm like, because it's work, man.
It takes work, bro.
Dude, I love Liz. She loves me, and but man, there's good days, bad days. It takes work, And so when you say like almost 30 years, I'm like, damn, that's awesome. So, So okay, so you're cutting grass at like 20, and you're starting to hustle. Were you still at the factory, or did you leave that, or what was the next transition point? Okay,
I was in the factory, man. At that time I was just trying to find myself, bro.
Sure.
I had a problem with drugs and alcohol during those times when I was 18. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, just growing up, and then that's when I started to get out of my comfort zone. Is when I started to get serious about shit, excuse me, but
it's all good. It's unfiltered.
I was like, man, this life isn't working for me.
Mm-hmm.
I was always getting in trouble with the law, and couldn't focus in life, and so that's when I took the initiative step to work myself to be a lead and just get out of my comfort zone. And then, at that time, the business, that's what I literally didn't do anything else besides work, bro. That's all I did, and dropped everything, focused on life and focused on work. And then I had a chance. I was in treatment. I went to treatment for my drug and alcohol. And so I was in treatment, and there was this one old guy that was there. He wasn't there for drugs and alcohol. He was there because he was friends with the counselor, right?
Hmm.
He was there, and we were at a picnic, treatment picnic, and he comes, and then he looked at me, right? And I looked at him. He kept looking at me. I looked at him. I was like, dude, okay, this is getting uncomfortable.
Sure.
And so, well, what I didn't realize was the man saw something in me that I couldn't see in myself. So he asked me, he was, I think, around 60 some years old. And he goes, hey, Chant, you want to, I do welding and custom ironwork. He goes, you want a job? He goes, I could use some help. And I'm like, dude, I already got 2 jobs. I'm thinking I got to mow lawns, and then I got to work full-time factory job at that time. So I had already had 2 jobs. And I said, sure. And at the time, then I just dove into work, and I would go out to his house during the week after I get off my full-time job. So then from like 5:30 p.m. to 10 o'clock at night, every day I would go out to his house. And he had this big shed that he worked out of and did metal railing, custom railing. He had a business,
Yeah.
And every day I would go out there. But what I didn't realize was that he was mentoring me to do what I do today. I watched everything he did and did everything he told me to do. And years passed, and I finally said, I told him, I really want to start my own landscaping business and lawn care, because I was doing lawn care and landscaping on the weekends. So that it was from Sunday to Sunday I was working constantly.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what that man taught me was business and life. Because I didn't have no friends, I didn't have anybody to hang around with, but just that old man.
Sure.
And so he took me to entrepreneur conventions and stuff, man, and all this stuff that I was so uncomfortable with. And next thing you know, I'm like, good. Everything, like I look back at it, that's why I'm like at where I'm at. It's because he put me in those uncomfortable positions where, like, he'd send me out, right? Like, I didn't like to talk to people. I still wasn't comfortable talking to people, being around people.
Right.
He would send me out he'd give me this, I don't know what it is, a candle holder for a church that he made. And he would chant, take this and go deliver it to this guy, and just telling me all the instructions. I was like, okay.
You're like,
just
great.
Send me off. Yeah, I'm like, okay, now I got responsibilities, dude. And so he sends me out, and these are the things that I didn't want to do. But I think he knew that in order for a guy like me to grow and to find what it is that I want to do in life, he just put me in those positions of just giving me responsibilities and tackling on the stuff that I don't want to do.
Yeah. What's your background, by the way? Are you Laos? If you don't mind me asking, or?
Yeah, I'm Laos.
Okay.
Yep, I'm Laos.
And so you're an immigrant, probably in a small town, right? So I could see that being a huge I don't say like setback, but like really uncomfortable. Obviously, I mean, let's be honest. You're in pasty white America in the country a little bit, and at least that's what I see. You're in like a small town America, and so
Right.
I'm sure that was super helpful for you to get out of your comfort zone, man. That's huge,
Yeah. Like growing up, like, as for being Asian and being Laos, it's like one of those things. Like, I always hung around your own culture, right?
Totally.
So you only see your own culture and how your own culture operates, which is great, man. I love my culture.
Of course.
But there are things that some things that I don't believe to do now looking back at it. And I think that when I put myself in, or get myself out of those old mindset and put new stuff in train my mind to think differently. And I think that's where that mentor of mine put in perspective. How do you, not to be, you don't have to sound racist or anything, but how do white people live, right? How does everybody else live besides the way I live?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
No, I see
it's like
that.
you get to see this whole new way of life and living.
Hmm.
Just because just because my culture does this doesn't mean that I have to do what they do,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm. Oh, dude,
It's,
that's huge. Like,
it's one of those things where now, like, I don't try to play the race game anymore. To that say, hey, this just because I'm Asian, this is why it's tough for me. I don't look at it that way.
right.
You know,
That's powerful,
I
dude.
look at it as okay. Just because of my color, my skin, or where I'm from, it doesn't mean that I can't be successful, and that's not going to stop me from doing what I do today.
Well, dude,
You know,
I mean, I can just echo that right back at you. That's what I'm saying, dude. That's why I'm really impressed with everything you got going on because I watch your videos and you know, you're making the titles and it's like the kid, you know, voted least likely to succeed, you know, and like
mm-hmm.
the kid that most likely would have just been, you know, doing regular cultural norms with like your background and your culture and your family and that's
Mm-hmm.
totally fine and acceptable too if you want to go down that route. You know,
Yeah,
I get a lot of Hispanic and Mexican guys, you know, watching us and following us, and I get to meet them
yeah,
at all the events. And dude, there's so many of them that love their past, love their culture, love everything, but they're also they're not like the easy way to say is like they don't want to live up to these like preconceived notions of like what they're supposed to do, you know,
yeah.
like we're supposed
Mm-hmm.
to just and dude, like, you know, whether you got Spanish background, Mexican background, you're white, you know, black, doesn't make any difference to me, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like to me, I don't pander, mess around with any of that mess. Like I treat everybody equal.
Right.
And but same, dude, it's just the same thing where I live. Like I grew up dirt poor. You know, we grew up in a double wide trailer, which means we were, you know, rich compared to the single wide trailer people, you know. So
Right.
so there's always a bigger fish, right? But you know, like there was no difference for me, you know, in a cultural, you know, expectation to go to college and go work at the automotive
Yep.
companies. And like when I even said I don't want to do that, it was almost literally like a like you might as well just be poor for the rest of your life working in factories because that's the other alternative is be blue collar.
Right.
And then I wanted to start my own business. I always said that. People are like, well, statistically, you're like really screwed, you know? And I'm like, okay, well, I've been swimming upstream my whole life. You know, this is no different. But I really we didn't even talk about this, but this is a good conversation because I just see so many people that have these like expectations on them, whether it's cultural or
Right.
economic or geographically, and like, dude, you can write your own future. Like you can change the stars, as they
Oh, yeah.
say. And I think and that's why I just you know say all that just to you know say I'm really impressed with what you get going on and I think I'll be honest with you, dude. You know, just I know outside looking in, like you had to work probably 2 to 3 times harder than everybody else to get where you're at, and I fully know that because you know that's just how it works when you're an immigrant, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't mean there's a glass ceiling there, you know.
No.
There's nobody holding you down, man. And so
No.
I'm a big advocate of that too. Is like, dude, don't make excuses, man. Like, look at Chant. Chant didn't make excuses, and he's tearing it from the frame, you know. So
Yeah.
okay, so
Yeah.
let's keep going on the timeline. So now you're what? So you're maybe in 30 or when did you decide to start the daily hustle and the what? So is your actual business Chance Daily Hustle? Or do you have like a lawn?
Yeah. It's a business now.
Okay, okay,
It turned business, you know.
yeah, okay,
And
okay. So when did you
well,
decide
it started
to start the landscaping company that we know today that we see on YouTube? Where did that just evolve or?
2009. 2009 was when I started
Okay,
officially. Got everything, you know, legal, right?
yeah, yeah,
So 2009, I was doing it for like 3 years at least before I started
yeah,
officially doing it
sure,
legally. And so, yeah, 2009 started it, and then took the leap of going full time. 2009.
wow,
So
okay,
took full time. I literally cleaned out my 401k. I didn't have. I the only thing I had when I started was just that push more, and then I had a Ford Ranger '92 Ford Ranger,
nice,
and that was
nice,
my first truck. And I took my 401k out just to have a cushion because I was like, dude, I only have enough mowing accounts that makes as much a week as I did in the factory, right?
mm,
So, but I didn't figure in taxes and all this stuff. I was like, oh man, I'm making at that time it was like just $350 a week, bro. I was bringing home, right?
Right.
And
Absolutely.
here I'm mowing lawns for $350 a week.
Right.
I was like, yes, okay, I'm making as much as I am at the factory. I can quit my job. And what I didn't realize was, oh shit, that 350 got to cover my fuel, got to cover all these other things. And so I'm making less, right?
Oh yeah.
And so it was, the mowing kept me going, but then I had to get creative of, okay, now I got to offer more service. Now it's trimming shrubs, all this, trying to pick up anything that I could, just so that when there's a dry spot, dry month or whatever, that you still had income. And so, yeah, and I quit working for Roger and my mentor that I was working for.
Okay.
And I quit working for him and just went to lawn care landscaping full time.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So like you said, you've been in business for 11 years or maybe going on 12 seasons now coming up here. And so when did things really start to explode for you? Because when did you guys get the shop and now, snapshot 2020, you're rocking like 3 baller GMCs. I know they're not like, WT work trucks. They're a nicer trim, and I know behind the scenes you're reinvesting. Like, in fact, actually, you and I got really intimate behind the scenes talking about numbers back at Louisville, and you're like explaining like some things are financed and leased for a reason, some things aren't, but it's all super intentional. And so when people watch YouTubers, they're like, oh, everything's financed. Well, no, not really. Like, some of it is, some of it isn't, but like we're under the microscope. It's like, it's like GZOP. It's like you've never had a credit card payment due, right? But anyway, so why don't you give everybody a snapshot of where you're at today? Because I think that's the Chance Daily Hustle that everybody gets to know and see, and I love talking about equipment. So we can probably land it here for 5 or 10 minutes if you want to unpackage that whole animal.
Yeah. No. So 10 years ago, I bought this building that we have right now that's turned into an embroidery shop and my office.
Okay.
Landscaping office, and it's got a 20 by 30 shed, right next to it, and I think 90 by 100 some feet of property in the back, where we keep a lot of our materials and stuff in the back of our shop.
Okay.
And so 10 years ago, I bought this, and it was a laundromat. And to be honest with you, man, I didn't care to be in the laundry business, But we bought it just because I wanted that 20 by 30 shed. I just wanted that shed. But at the time, the owners wanted to sell everything.
Okay.
And so I was like, okay, I guess I got to learn how to collect coins and run the laundromat. I didn't know nothing about it.
Okay.
So did our numbers. I told Amy, I looked at Amy, I saw it in the papers. I told Amy, I go, hey, why don't we buy this laundromat? She looked at me, she goes, how are we going to afford that? We're still living, paycheck to paycheck here. And, what's the bank's not going to give you no money, right? And so I said, as entrepreneurs, I don't know. For me, I just knew if I don't dig down and check it out, I'm never going to know, right?
Yeah, you get creative.
I go, yeah, you get creative. You do whatever you need to make it work, right? So I go to the bank and everything, and here I got like walking in there like a dog with tail behind my, between my legs, because there's nothing in the savings. There's nothing anywhere. No, like hard to even get money for this big building. And so I go in, and luckily the banker in there knew my past and my history of where I was and where I was trying to go to, right, or get to. And so before even going into the bank, I cleaned up my mess and stuff that I had, in my past. And so still I had to come up with 30% of cash, bro.
Oh, wow.
Right? I was like, dude, I ain't got 30% of this 90 some thousand,
sure,
place. And so we got creative. We made it work. And next thing we're in here. And Amy wasn't sure of how we were going to do it.
Mm.
But I knew that if I went and looked at the numbers, did my due diligence, and we could somehow make this work. And we did.
Oh, wow. Nice. And so that was part of the warehouse and the shop all at once.
Yeah.
So if it was kind of like, if you don't get that, you don't get the rest of it, is what
you
it
don't
sounds
get nothing. Yep. So we end up buying the whole thing.
Wow.
And next thing you know, the landscaping business just blew up. And we picked up commercial accounts, and we started, like, our name was getting out there.
Yeah. I gotta joke, because I remember watching you in 2016, bro, and I'm like, what's up with this louse little dude running around? He's cutting grass, and it sounds really awful, obviously, but like, just optics, I'm like, and now he's got a laundromat. I'm like, come on, man, like, something's going on there. And I'm just being honest. I was like, wait a minute, this guy's cutting grass. I'm like, I got some money starting to come in. I need to do something with it too. And then I'm like, I see you with a laundromat. I'm like, is he like in with like the Vietnamese mafia? Like, how does this? And this is so like probably racist, but I'm just having fun here. But I was like, because I was wondering how you got into the laundromat, because like I was like, I told Liz, I'm like, well, what do you do when you start making money? You got to do something with it. You start like, reinvesting it into real estate or, franchises, right? Like that's what I'm learning as I get older. And I'm like, I don't know, man, but this Laos dude is buying laundromats. Like, is that like a viable, coin wash business where there's no time invested? You got a little $9 hour employee on staff, but dude, I'm just laughing.
It's not that we had the money, bro.
Yeah.
To buy it. At the time, it was about getting what I wanted, was the shed.
Yeah.
And it happened to work out,
I was,
and I knew that the laundromat wasn't like our source of income.
Right.
I was depending on the landscaping, right?
You weren't trying to branch out.
No, I wasn't trying to. I didn't know anything about reinvesting, bro.
Okay.
All I knew was, man, I'd had to have that shed.
Yeah.
Because our house was getting, our neighbors wasn't liking that I had trailers parked in front of the house and all this stuff, right?
Right.
And I was like, I got to get out.
Oh my God, too funny.
Like I just wanted this place, but then I knew the laundromat was going to pay for whatever that we need to, and I didn't have to dig any money out of anywhere else.
Sure.
So that's where it just became. Then, I didn't know anything about the investment part. I just knew, I was like, man, I got to get this thing.
I got to get it. Yeah. Well, man, there's if you really read in between the lines, there's a lot of like success principles there that we could talk at length about, man, with just knowing what you want and fighting like hell to get it. And it's always funny. Like I always say, like the biggest breakthroughs usually come after you think it's easy street. Like you're like, yeah, we're going to get this shop. It's going to be awesome. Like, I can't wait to have it. Like our business is going to go to the next level, or, and it can be as macro and big as that. It can be as simple as, oh, if I get this new car or truck, or if I get this new mower, like I got it made. And then you go to apply for credit, or you go to, you don't have enough money for a down payment. That's real life, dude. Like anybody who doesn't pretend that, like, is just lying to you. And so, I've been denied for things, and I'm like, well, that sucks. I guess that dream's over. No. That's when it starts. That's when the hustle starts. That's when you get, that's when you get creative. When you don't have anything going on, you get resourceful. I remember listening to an old Tony Robbins talk, like on YouTube, dude, like 2008, and it was like talking about being resources versus resourcefulness. And man, I can spot that in 10 seconds. I can sniff out an entrepreneur in 10 seconds, because I understand those who are resourceful, and have resourcefulness. And that's why there's just such an instant, respect for you and other guys I bump into, because I can just tell, like, no, dude, like they didn't have it easy. I didn't have it. People think like, look at all that stuff that YouTube bought them. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, dude, that was not that. There's no way. Everything I have came from everything we've made from our lawn business. Like it's not even in the galaxy. So I just really say like all that, just say like, dude, like what you got going on, I know it's just hard work. And like I said, I know just by life, by nature, by default, like you had to work 2 or 3 times harder because, you know, you're with your background and everything going on. Like I know it wasn't easy, and I know you guys had probably highs and lows. You know, I'm sure you and Amy had some conversations back in the day.
We're still going through that, dude. We're still going through highs. We're still going through lows.
Sure.
The thing is that I believe today that it's the process that I really enjoy.
Right.
To be honest with you, like if I reached a goal or a peak of where I think I've made it, I'm the type of person who gets bored easily, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've got to get creative. I got to like build something.
Well, I can relate to that. In fact, I was talking to Alex Nickens. He did a podcast with us, and just really good dude. And he was saying the same thing, that like it's almost like the suck phase is the fun phase. But when you're going through the suck phase and the hustle phase, it's awful. You know, like you have no money, you have no food, you have no nice clothes. Yep. Your girl is like hanging on by a thread half the time. And that's just real talk. And you know, you're promising the world, and they're like, but you said we wouldn't buy another mower ever again, or for another year, or why do we have another like I want a nicer car for $500 a month? Why do we have a $500 a month mower or, you know, aerator payment now? And it's like, I know, but like if we do this, it'll catapult us, you know, like 3 years from now. Well, when you spin that dream 3 times, you know, and it's like 6 years later, they're like, it gets tough, man. And so I know, and dude, like when I was talking to you and Amy, it's funny. You know, people think like Liz is just like, you know, a stay-at-home housewife. And I'm like, dude, Liz has more business acumen and knowledge in her freaking pinky finger than most people would ever have in their wildest imagination. And she's not my secret weapon. She's my full-time weapon. Okay. Like people don't understand how much my wife knows about business and social media and entrepreneur. I mean, I would put like, if I died, she'd keep everything going. I know that. So the reason I say that is because when I'm and here's, you know, I'm always learning, dude. I'm learning because I'm hanging out with Chance Daily Hustle. First time I get to hang out with him in person. And I don't totally know you guys. Like, I'm not going to pretend to be best friends with somebody just because we work in like the same space, quote unquote, YouTube, right? So I was like, hey, Chant, my name is Brian Fullerton. Like, I'm starting from the basics, bro. Like, I don't take it for granted if you even know my name, right? And so but here's the deal. I say all that just to say, when we're at dinner, I say something, and then Liz says something, Chant says something. Blake and Natalie were there, of course, too. Great couple. And then Amy would talk, and I'm like, oh, let's see like what his wife, you know, knows or what she's about, or, you know, not judge it. I'm just listening. And Amy's dropping, you know, truth bombs and nuggets, and she's like, well, have you ever thought about this, and this? And, you know, because you guys are a little bit older, and I'm like, no, like we've never considered that. And she's like, yeah, well, we know exactly where you guys are at. We were there like 8 years ago. It's not, you guys sound just like us. Like this is what we had to do. And you know, she's, you know, just a power player with you, and you know, running the family and the kids. And I know like she's a butt kicker because dude, she was hanging with you and me till 2 a.m. at the golf house on the couches. And so I just say all that just to say that it's not all Chant running the show. I know Amy's right there side by side, not behind you. You're like running with you.
The thing is, I'm high strung, bro. If you really know, like you come about me for a day, bro. Yeah. I'm like really high strung. And no. I told Amy, I go, if anybody can work for me and put up with me, they're very special in their own ways. Right. Because, dude, it's one of like Amy. She knows everything about me. She knows when I'm upset, when I'm frustrated, when things are going good, all this stuff, right? And that's what's neat and special about her is that she can, like, she knows. It's like I'm so high strung, like running this place, right? The gals will come in here at 9 a.m. this morning. And there's days, bro, that I'm in here. I know exactly what we need to get done and what I want to accomplish, right? And I get high strung, man. If you were here to follow me along for a day, it's I don't know. I said I told Amy, I can't even work with me. I feel like some days, you know, it's tough, bro. It's because now you're responsible for everybody, and then Amy's the one that like she's like the one that I think calms everything down, right? Like puts everything in perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the guy who just like, okay, we need to get this done. You know, we got to schedule this and that.
Right.
And Amy's just the one that just
calm voice.
Calm voice, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I'm all worried of this, that.
Dude, I see guys like me and you and probably half the friggin' audience listening, you know, like we're like when you're a red-blooded male out there, especially when you're an entrepreneur and you've been like scraping for like a decade, you know, like you're so like charged up like type A. Like I'm actually like not like out there in front of everybody type A, like a Stanley Dirt Monkey, right? Like Stan will rip your head off and then pour fuel down your throat and then like eat your bone marrow. Okay, that guy's he's alpha. I'm like the guy that goes to the party and like tricks the drunk guy into doing more stupid things. Okay, like I'm the behind the scenes guy. But it's funny though because guys are like you and me. We're like literally like walking around napalm. You know, like we just everything just. You know, and our wives are like, oh my God. They're like, you know, they like repair relationships and damage control. And they're like, what Brian really meant was, you know, and so thank Jesus for them. Cause like I always tell people like alpha male, I'm the head of this family. And then Liz always reminds me, yeah, but I'm the neck. And I get to tell the head where to go, you know? So, And I know you guys have probably a similar relationship because Amy's a butt kicker and I sincerely want to just talk about her for a second because I was really impressed with everything she talked about when you guys were there in Louisville and she held her own, man, and it was a really fun conversation, you know. Well, one thing I want to do is maybe we can transition here. That might be a good segue into. I want to double down on what you just alluded to, which is like if you follow me around for a day. Right. If you follow me around for a day, you might, you know, either A, be inspired or B, feel depressed because how hard you work, you know. So I want to talk about social media. We got about another 20 or 30 minutes. And, you know, I mean, dude, for real, you got some stuff going on with YouTube and Instagram, Facebook. I mean, you're on everything, and it's just you're one of those. I would also say like kind of OG guys, like behind the scenes. Like you were one of the first YouTube channels that I had watched when I. You know, dude, I don't even know what I was watching. I was watching some cat videos, you know, in 2016. Now, I've been on YouTube, dude, since like day one. Like, I love everything going on with YouTube. You know, I've watched it since like literally day one with you know, Dancing Babies and Charlie Bit My Finger. Okay, and so what? But I'll say this: like when I started watching lawn care YouTube, it was like 2015, 16, and it was just really, I don't even know how some video got promoted to me probably by Geek the Freak. I was part of that bandwagon that when he just went meteoric, and then I found like the B&B Lawn Cares, the Jason Ambro, the Brian Shane Top Notch, and then it was you. You guys all had like, you know, this is way old, you know, 5 years ago, so just context, but you had like probably 5 or 6, 7, 8,000 subscribers. Like B&B had like 5,000. I mean, I had like 100 for like a long time because nobody wanted to watch me, and I didn't know what I was doing. But like you guys were like the ones I watched. Like you guys were the megastars, and still in my mind are like I say, I've built everything I do like off the shoulders of giants, and it's not lip service. Like I really do believe that, you know. So that's where the Chance Daily Hustle thing really, I think, shifted gears for you, you know. So if I can, I want to keep you on the line because I want to unpackage that because there's such a rich story to tell and so much heritage and history there. And so I think let's do this. Let's hear from the announcements. We'll take a quick break. We'll change it up, and we'll jump right back into it here right after the announcements.
Looking to outfit your trailer with the best racks in the industry? Head over to Equipment Defender. Be secure, look professional, Be organized. Stop thieves and damage in their tracks. Equipment Defender has racks for backpack blowers, trimmers, gas cans, backpack sprayers, and more. Stay organized. Stay secure with Equipment Defender. All Equipment Defender racks work in either open or enclosed trailers. Get secure and organized today at equipmentdefender.com. And be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Equipment Defender.
Let's unpackage Chant's Daily Hustle. How did you even get started with Chant's Daily Hustle, and what made you decide to do what I think is actually clinically insane, which is called doing YouTube? Because it's crazy. It's a meat grinder. What were you thinking when you were getting started? Why did you get started, and where did the daily vlog? Because that's really where I first started watching your content.
Right. So, man, I was into my landscaping business, lawn care business, I don't know, 7 years in, not 7, I mean 6, about 6 years into it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were making money, we were doing this, right? But I wasn't even on social media.
Mm.
You know, I wasn't even doing anything. And then I got Facebook, right? I started getting Facebook. It's like, man, this is pretty cool, right? Started with Facebook. And then, like, I was getting depressed, man, and just bored with life in general. Like, okay, I'm doing all this stuff, but there's nobody to share it to, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so like I said, I'm the type of person who gets bored very easily. And so I tapped in. I started watching everybody else too. Like, you know, who was it? B&B, Top Notch, and, you know, a few of those guys I was watching. I'm like, man, this is pretty cool. You know, watching these guys telling their story and sharing what they do each day. Like, okay. Keith Kelford, too. I reached out to Keith. I reached out to Keith. Oh, man, he is the man. And I was like, man, this guy's awesome. First video I remember watching of Keith was where he was standing at a house and sharing, like, something about you don't have to tell the customer how much you're getting paid an hour, right? Because then they'll say you tell a customer you're getting paid $50 an hour, they think that's a lot. But then when you do a bid or whatever without telling them how much you get paid an hour, it puts a different perspective. And that was one of the videos that I watched of Keith.
Nice.
And he was new in the game at that time too.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were all learning. And so then I was like, man, I'm going to start my own YouTube channel. And then what's his name? Casey Neistat, right? Was big at that time. And so I started watching him and I was like, okay, I'm going to start doing daily vlogs. And I did. And it started out with the family, you know, not much with the business, just with the family. And so I had my YouTube 2014, but I didn't post much until 2015. I think I started maybe 2016 when I started daily vlog.
Okay.
And so I committed myself for 2 years, bro. I did daily vlogs, and I didn't know which direction I was going. And for a whole year, I recorded it. I was just enjoying it and having fun with it. Right? I didn't know that you could make money. I didn't know that you could. There's more to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then I was just recording, documenting my life and my journey. And for a whole year, it was, I had maybe 20, 30 views. You know, I really didn't care, but I was just putting content out there.
Yeah.
And then by the second year of daily vlogging, it took off, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It took off and started getting some more views. And it just started growing, you know.
Yeah.
And from there, and I was just it started out landscaping channel, right? Singvongsa landscaping. And then it went to, I changed it to my name, Chant Singvongsa. Well, I was like, man, nobody's going to be able to pronounce this last name. I was like, nobody's going to know me. Nobody's going to pronounce the name. So then I was like, okay, I'm doing all this. I feel like I'm running around all the time and just starting businesses. I said, I'm just going to call this Chant Daily Hustle.
Okay.
And so we made that switch of going Chant Daily Hustle. And from there, man, you know, like you and I and many other entrepreneurs and YouTubers, you have this vision of your brand
Mm-hmm.
and where you want to take it. And so it just slowly grew into the daily hustle. I was like, in the back of my mind, I was like, man, if I put hustle and stuff, on my trucks and stuff, I had that back of my mind, like nobody would take me seriously, right?
Mm.
I had that, but I fought that feeling and that thought of not doing what my heart tells me. And then I said, once I bought my dump truck, I bought my new dump truck. I didn't have all these equipment that I had, and once I bought my new dump truck, I said, I'm going to brand this.
Mm.
I go, I don't care what people think or say. I'm going to put Daily Hustle in the back of my truck.
Mm.
And from that point, it just became the brand.
Wow.
You know?
Dude, it is a known brand. I mean, if, one thing that, and maybe this is a segue to talking about like Gary Vee and the Grant Cardones and all that mess. Because I love talking about social media and, people always think that, excuse me, people always think that, growing a YouTube channel is just making videos, but dude, there's like marketing and branding and color schemes. And I don't know I'm learning all this stuff every day. I am not that good at it. But I know if I say chant, people say Daily Hustle, like I say chant, you say, no, I'm just kidding. So you are really good at marketing and branding. And I think that's something that, I recognize. I don't know if everybody else recognizes, but, so then you started, putting it on the truck, you started putting it on the trailer. And then where did the embroidery business come into play? Cause now you're like doing all of it, which reinforces all of it. And now you're like the go-to guy for marketing and branding materials,
Everything starts out with a problem, right? Everything that was created starts out with a problem that I had.
Mm.
And so YouTube was getting some traction, right? Mm-hmm. And I had people asking me, hey, man, I'd like to get some Daily Hustle hats or some merch, right?
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay. And then we had a local embroidery shop here in town I'd go to and get some merch made. And nothing's ever fast enough for me, bro.
Yeah.
So
I know
then it was taking too long, right? The people making it was taking too long, and it wasn't up to my expectation, how I wanted to look. And so I took it in my own hands. I bought an embroidery machine, a single head machine. Knew nothing about embroidery, bro. Dropped $12,000 on an embroidery machine. I don't know. I said I just need it.
Right.
So then we bought one. I bought one. It came. They dropped it off or shipped it, and I literally learned how to run an embroidery machine from the ground up. Didn't know anything. Didn't know nothing. But I knew I had to pump out hats and shirts or whatever I needed to do for the audience, and so I did. I bought that, and next thing you know, I know how to run a machine. And then next thing you know, a few years passed, the business that I was getting my hats and stuff done was going out of business. So embroidery business here in town. And the owner knew that I had that own machine. And what do you know? She comes and asks me if I wanted to buy the business, right? I said, okay. I was like, it was in the middle of winter, bro. There was no snow. I'm like scratching my head. Where's the income going to come in, right?
Right.
I'm waiting for snow and stuff.
Keeping people busy.
Keeping people busy. And this opportunity came up. I was like, okay, no snow, perfect timing. But now how am I going to come up with the money that I need to buy this place, right?
Right.
Got creative, negotiated the deal, got creative, made it work. Next thing you know, we own a freaking embroidery business downtown. and knew nothing about doing. I mean, I knew the machines, like my machine. I didn't know anything about what they had and like how to even run it. There was no system, bro.
Right.
I was just punching hats out of my office, just selling it off online.
I can imagine.
I didn't know nothing about that. So then we jumped into it last year. in January, we bought it, 2019 January, we bought the embroidery business downtown.
Mm.
I looked at their numbers. I was like, oh man, like, per year, right? Their sales, their growth. I looked at everything. I was like, oh, we got to turn this around. I go, if we operate at their gross or whatever they're making, I said, it's going to be tough to run it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was risking it, bro. Like everything was risky, high risk. I just jumped into it and took it. And next thing you know, we get hit with snow, dude, nonstop. And here I'm trying to run now I got to go out and plow and try to run a embroidery business.
Right.
And I was like, oh man, it was the toughest year of our life, Amy and I. And next thing you know, we bought the business. The lady that was working there, I kept her on because she knew more than I did.
Oh yeah, that's super smart.
And
smart, very smart.
I said, okay, let's keep. I go, if that's okay, if you want to work for us still. I go, I'd love to keep you here. She goes, yeah. And she was there for 6 days, bro. She quit on me.
Oh no.
She quit on me. It was too much for her.
the chant. She couldn't handle chant.
I told you, 6 days, bro. She freaking takes the key to the door, walks out. I come back with my brother. I see the key and the note saying she's done.
Oh my God.
I'm like, oh crap.
Wow.
I told Amy, because Amy was going to quit her daycare that summer, right? But now it's January. I said, Amy, we have to figure something out. I need you down here. I go, you might have to give your parents 2 weeks.
Wow.
So she was doing daycare.
Okay.
So she did.
Okay. She
gave her parents 2 weeks, or her family's 2 week notice to find other daycare provider. So Amy dropped that. And next thing you know, we're trying to Amy's trying to take care of the kids. I'm out removing snow. She's trying to run the embroidery machine. Like, dude, she didn't know nothing about the business either.
Wow.
And so all of us were learning.
Dude,
trying
this
to
is
figure this out.
Incredible. Like I never get to hear these stories. Like, this is the stories you don't get to see behind the scenes on YouTube, like
right.
Because I see a YouTube video, it's like, just did 2,000 hats, and like
right.
like it's all like that's YouTube. That's what YouTube is. It's like it's like a highlight reel. But like I like podcasting because you're like, wait a minute, so you guys were broke and busted and fighting and like right. That's my story. So you guys were. So then you had to start figuring it out, and then now you have like a massive machine, right? Like a 10-unit machine, or
right. Well, we got a 4-head right now and a 2-head machine, and then I got another one single head that I first bought. So 4, 5, 6, 7 head right now. But in a week, this coming week here, we're getting rid of this old 4-head machine. We just bought a brand new 8-head machine.
Wow.
So that's coming next week. And so we've just
good for you.
We've just grown. The thing is that we had to figure out the systems and everything. And dude, Amy and I's relationship was on the thread last year in January. We were trying to figure out where we're at, where our business and our relationship was at. And we sat in that back room of the old downtown building, dude, just eating. Like there was moments where we wouldn't even talk, nothing. It just was that bad.
Wow.
And then we finally, I said, Amy, I don't know. We sat down and we talked where we were at. And I said, okay, how do we ease everything that's going on? Either we're going to have to shut down or hire somebody, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, the numbers looked like the numbers showed that we couldn't afford anybody else, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it was either getting somebody in or our relationship was going to go somewhere else, right? Because it was tough, bro. And I made the decision, or both of us made the decision to hire somebody. I don't know how we were going to pay them, but we were going to hire somebody, bring them in, and have them help us with everything that's going on. And we did. and we always made sure our employees got paid, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't care what we made or what I took home. I wanted to know that we were getting stuff done, and our relationship was gonna go back to normal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so
that's real talk, man. I appreciate you opening up and sharing about that.
We definitely hired somebody in, and we got people in, and next thing you know, everything worked its way out. Like suddenly we're getting orders, we're getting support, people are just coming in, and all this stuff, and we found a way to pay that person.
Nice.
We always made sure we always cut check for them.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't care if I starved or whatever. We made sure that they were taken care of.
We've been there, man. When I've emailed my payroll company many times and I said, hey, why don't you adjust my payroll down to a tenth of that for this pay period, and
right,
because you got to get the employees paid, man. And
get them paid.
We and I'm running an operation a tenth of what you got going on, respectfully. So it's like, but I've heard the stories, man, and that's so bizarre because I never knew all that, man. That's like real talk, and I really do appreciate you guys opening up and sharing that story, because I know. I do get a lot of emails and DMs from people, man. Like, hey, like my wife and I are like cats right now, man. We're just fighting, and
dude,
it's tough, man.
That's where it tests your relationship, and I now Amy and I can laugh at that, right?
Right.
We can laugh at that now.
Right.
I said, man, we can go through what we went through a year ago. I mean, we've been through a lot for the last 20-some years here together.
Sure.
But we looked at it like everything that we've been through, we worked through it. It's not that we can't work through it. It just takes work. Just like our business, it takes work.
Right.
Our relationship takes work. And now Amy and I, we can look back and say, wow, we sat in that dungy back room with the furnace running. It was so dirty and just it run down. Like,
wow.
We didn't even talk. We just ate. And like there was times we had so much orders, bro, in like getting stuff done, and it was just me and Amy, and there was times she would have to go pick up the kids or do stuff with the kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then and I'd always feel like we weren't on the same team. Like she didn't want it bad enough, but at the same time, there was a responsibility for her to take care of the kids, right?
Sure.
So we were trying to balance all this out.
Totally.
And we were bumping heads left and right. And next thing you know, now we got out of there and we're in this big space, and we've got employees, people helping us, and the system. Like we finally, I mean, it's not perfect, but it's
way
better than where we were at
a year ago. Yeah. That's probably why Amy was so bold and confident when we were in Louisville in June or July. She's like, man, I've been through some things. She's like,
oh yeah.
It's like, give me the microphone. I'll rip it right now. It's like, okay, Mama Bear is coming. Because that's how it is with Liz.
I know, because I thought the toughest thing we went through in life was me trying to quit drinking and all this stuff, right? I thought that was tough. But then when we experienced what we did last year with her trying to balance kids, work, and all this stuff, that was another stepping stone of, okay, that even was magnified 10 times.
Well, it's one of those things where folks, man, I'll tell you, we could talk for another hour on this kind of stuff, because it's like, I always remember hearing the, new levels, new devils, right? And so people think that just because you hit a certain checkpoint, or I call it peak to peak principle, like just because you arrive at that next thing, like doesn't mean like there's not going to be other like struggles and demons and things trying to, tear you apart. Like, just because you have a 7-figure business, it doesn't mean like things instantly become easy and everything evaporates, around you, like your problems. Like, no, like now you got other problems. And here's the thing, like, as long as you don't quit, as long as you don't die on the vine, like you can push through and pull through. And I agree, man. Liz and I have had those conversations about YouTube in general. Like we get, so much good feedback, and then there's like negative feedback, and sometimes, and I'm like, I didn't sign up for people to tell me to go kill myself. I'm like, when did that come into play? And dude, it works on your psyche, and I'm like, dude, I don't need a dime from anything we make from YouTube, which isn't, a gargantuan amount anyway. So I was like, why am I putting myself out there to help somebody else? And I'm getting, and 99% of people leave nice things and encourage and comment. And, I'm a people pleaser. So like I eat that stuff up. And then, but like when you get the negative stuff, it works on you. And then, you have, then like mud mower gets stuck in the mud, and, that works on you. Then you get home after you think you slayed it all day. And then like, you get 2 voicemails, hey, you missed you missed a spot, or we're canceling and we're going with the cheaper guy. And it's like, people forget like that we're human, and so let's do this. Man, I will say this, like, if standing invitation, if you want to jump back on the podcast, like maybe we can get a Chance Daily Hustle update, like maybe late spring or midsummer, because like you and I, like we're the kind of guys, we get on the phone, we could talk for 3 hours, and it's good content. It's fun content. But let's do this. So why don't you give everybody like some wrap up thoughts? Like what do you think is some of the keys to maybe your success? I know we've been talking about it for an hour, but and then let everybody know where they can find you on socials, and obviously like you have an embroidery business. So if folks legit need help with that, I know we're not here to plug that, but I mean it's what you do, so why not? And I know you can ship worldwide. So a lot of guys have always appreciated the print materials that you make, so, and the embroidery materials, I should say. So what's some parting thoughts that you want to leave folks with? You got open mic for about 5 minutes, man. Let me know.
Yeah, man. The one thing I encourage anybody to do, or in life and in business, when the going gets tough, you figure a way to push through it and work through it. And it's never easy. It's never easy as people think it is. And whatever you want in life and whatever you are trying to achieve, go for it, because I find that it's more rewarding and more exciting when I'm doing what my heart tells me, and it's just pursue it, man. It's just do what it is that you want to do.
And never back down.
Yeah, never back down. And if there's and if you want something, and if you think that you can't get it, if you think your thoughts is just a thought, bro. It's the action. If you want something, put the action into it and just figure it out. Because if you don't try it, then you'll always be thinking about it. And that's what I want, encourage everybody to do, is just pursue whatever you want to do. And your story is your story to tell. And the world needs to hear your story, no matter who it is.
I agree. I love it.
And everybody's got a story. And so, yeah, I encourage that, man. It's just pursuing what it is. I don't care if you make $1 or $1 million. Whatever makes you happy, do it.
That's
do it.
That's some good parting wisdom, man. I like I said, you and your videos and everything you've done has always been I just appreciate it, I guess is what I'm trying to say, because I watched all your stuff early on. I still do, and you and I we text once every week or two, and get on the phone once a month or so, and it's just good to catch up with friends, even though you're probably 500 miles away. It's like it's we're kindred spirits out there, kind of doing the same thing, man, trying to take care of our families, and both humbly didn't come from much, and different stories, but have a lot in common, and I'm not louse, I'm pasty white, but beyond that, the hustle, really resonates with my spirit, that you always talk about.
You're killing it too, bro. You're killing it too. So
yeah,
it's always good to support, like me myself. I recognize people that are like on the same path, not on the same. on the road.
Yeah.
Go in different directions. But I know that you're a hustle, and what you're doing. Like you can see it, you can read it.
Now,
when people are doing their best. So.
All my views come from me just watching my own videos. So that's a fact. So my wife and my mom and my brother, I'm like, make sure you hit the like button. My 4 biggest fans, right? Myself.
Yeah.
No. Well, let's wrap it up. Where can people find you, man? Chance Daily Hustle, YouTube.
Yep, Chance Daily Hustle, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and then if our embroidery shop, it's called Daily Hustle Store. So you Google that, you'll find the information, or email us at jacksonbhembroidery@gmail.com.
Cool.
If you guys want hats or whatever you want made. Right now we're trying to get a system down to make it ordering process easier too. It's one of those things we got to work on yet.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Cool. And by the way, you're also always available. You got like an actual physical store. So if anybody's in, the Jackson,
Minnesota there.
Mm-hmm. And
we got a physical store there.
Yeah. And I know you always go to the local trade shows by you, but then of course GIE, and you do a lot. We didn't even get to talk about, Bobcat, but you do a lot with them. And so you're really approachable and accessible is what I try to tell people. Like you're one of those guys that, responds back, which is really cool. So,
just DM me, DM me on Facebook, Instagram, whatever,
Yeah, for sure.
We do stuff, so, yeah.
All right, bro. Well, that's going to be it for this podcast. Against all odds, man. I think that's what I'm going to title this one, because that's just proven that against everything, you have come out on top, and you are a testament to hard work and having a big dream, and being relentless. So kudos to you. I really do respect you, man, and that's awesome. So, all right, guys. Well, we're gonna wrap this one up here. This was another fun episode of Fullerton Unfiltered. If you guys enjoyed it, you guys know the deal. Hit a 5-star review if you haven't. If you hate me and Chan and you don't like anything we say, that's fine too. Just hit 5 stars. We appreciate you, because got to appease the algorithm gods, right? So just have fun here. Yeah. But all right, guys. Well, Chant, thanks again for being on the show, man. We'll catch up with all.
Appreciate having me.
100%, man. We'll catch up with all of you guys on the next episode. We'll see ya.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.